did a self-development episode number 1 a couple days ago. I think it was last week. So now I'm trying to upload the second episode for you. So this one is pretty much just a little overview of what I've been doing since the first episode, where I kind of just took a little chip off the iceberg of what was wrong, or what was stopping me, holding me back, and what I was holding myself back from leaning into. So today and the past week I've been leaning into it. This week I've been quite hectic with work, which is amazing for me. I'm leaning into that as well. But the only self-development thing I did do this week, I will show you. But it was just, for me, my self-development is to hold myself in my own loneliness and to be comfortable in my own company, which I realize I can't do. And it's really actually affected a lot of my life the past couple of years now. And the more I notice it now in my daily actions, I'm realizing how many choices I've actually made based on the fact that I don't want to be purely alone. So I was uncomfortable in my own company. So the first thing I did this week, I only chose one thing to practice on from Monday to Friday, so it wasn't too overwhelming and so that I could actually conquer it. So I just sat in my own silence in the car. So that was my one practice of the week, to be comfortable in my own loneliness and company. I sat in the car every trip I did, and I do 10-15 trips a week, an hour sometimes or more if there's traffic, and I just sat there in silence every single trip. And it was great because when I got to Friday, unconsciously, if I had turned the radio on or there was anything any music on or something like that in the car, I would unconsciously turn it off. So I wanted to be in my own silence. It was actually really comforting and nice to know that I am making small progress and it's only been a week. Even though it's just the one practice, it really means a lot to me, because being able to sit in the car without freaking out, touch my phone and trying to distract myself from being by myself is super, super huge. As stupid as it sounds and as small as it sounds, it's massive for me. So yeah, I'm super proud of myself and excited, because that was only the first practice, and it's only been a week. What I'm going to do today is read out what I'm aiming to do this weekend. So today it is Saturday, and then I have Sunday by myself too, and I get back to work on Monday. So this weekend, here are a couple things that I'm aiming to do. So activities to embrace this weekend: Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So activity 1, staying at home all Friday night, working and watching the footy and being okay with it. So this was a big one. I did this last night, and I'll show a clip. One, staying home and being okay with it on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday really, really triggers me, because I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing that. We're just, my company's not enough to be sitting inside doing absolutely nothing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with my partner. So this was really good last night, because I actually got to sit, watch the footy, and felt quite wholesome. I was I'm content. I'm neutral, I'm content, and this feels good. Which was really important, because that's the first time that's happened. And I also worked on the second half of the game, not touching my phone and just watching the footy, because I have this horrible habit of, if I'm by myself, I will watch the footy, and yes, that's a distraction, but I can't just be in my own presence watching the footy, so I go on my phone. And whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anything like that, but I'll make sure I'm doing something on my phone, so that it's not just me, myself, my company. So last night, the second half of the game, I put my phone down and I watched the whole 40 minutes without going on my phone, which is also an epic achievement for me. First time on that one, so it's not a huge practice or routine I've changed, but first time. And then this afternoon, obviously footy's on tonight as well, Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon I'll do the same thing. And yeah, so that's a pretty solid hour or so in my own company as well. So that's pretty awesome. And it's also it's pretty hectic that a footy game can become the practice, or an hour can be something that changes my entire life, or impacts my business, or impacts my relationship, and makes it all better, purely based off an hour of sitting in silence. That's for me specifically. Okay, and then moving on from that, today is Saturday, so my team is in round 1 of AFL, and I'm still recovering from my ACL, MCL, so I'm not playing yet. And today I decided to stay home, and I'm going to go watch them. One, this is huge, because Oh my gosh, I honestly apologize. This is huge because I was going to have to foster this with my parents because my boyfriend's away, and every time he leaves to go on his work trips, like overseas for rugby, I go right up to foster. And then after obviously my breakthrough, I was like, one massive takeaway would be this weekend is to stay home, to force myself to be home and not run away and escape it. So I stayed home, so go me. Thank you, Mum, for the support and understanding that I'm not coming up. And then to go watch the AFL game. So there are two parts to this. So one, it's actually epic that I'm going to go watch the AFL game because usually I would not, because that means I have to socialise and I'm not comfortable in my own company, so why would I think anyone else enjoys my company that much either? So that's a massive thing, to even one, just go there and trust in my own company and that I'm wanted, which was, still mind-blowing. Obviously I haven't gone yet and I haven't reacted and taken in how I'm going to react whilst I'm going, but I will film it and record it and update you guys afterwards as well once I journal after. But that's the super cool part one to it. But then the part two is that I actually have not been to a footy game to watch without my dogs. So this falls back into episode 1 where I was like the first example that came to my head was my dogs. So I literally take my dogs everywhere, and no, I'm not taking, and I spoke about this with my mentor, I'm not taking my dogs to the game because I don't want them to be home alone. They're fine. They have each other. They've got an abundance of toys and they froth being home alone and tearing everything up. It's so that I don't have to go there, be alone, and then get stuck in people having to deal with just my own company and not have to rely back on, the dogs, the puppy up, and pay attention to them. Or if something got awkward and I couldn't sit in my own silence, if people walked away or they had to go do something, I could just fall back to patting the dog and then I would be okay. So that's really cool. I'm going to do that today. That's in a couple hours, so I'm getting quite nervous, but I'm actually super excited to do that for myself because it's going to be the first time ever. And I think it's going to be a massive shift in who I am and how I socialize and stuff like that. So it's going to be really, really, really cool for me. So I'm going to record that as well. I'll record bits and pieces and then I'll review through journaling and show you guys how I felt, what came up and what emotions I had to sit with as well. So yeah, that's super exciting. And then the next activity I had was journaling once each day, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, whether it's deep or just surface level, just to acknowledge how I feel now in the present or how the past is affecting me or impacting me. So I didn't journal last night, so I was pumped with work and I love that for myself because I made that happen. But today, after I finish reading this list out, I'm actually going to journal and we'll go through that together as well because everyone really liked that I opened up about the journaling, as well as I gave them a safe place to understand journaling and just encourage it. So I'll do that as well with you guys. And then we have watching a movie or listening to music without another distraction, for example, my phone. So that's what I mean by watching the footy without going on my phone at the same time, or listening to music and having the music on and just sitting in there listening to the music. Instead of listening to the music and having to be working out, having to be doing, moving around, stuff like that, because I'm still distracting myself, to literally just sit in my company and just sit there. Contemplate it, enjoy it, whatever, and just sit there. So that's another thing. Going to the beach alone or doing ice bath recovery. I couldn't do either of those things today because unfortunately the ice bath I was going to was not working. And the beach alone, I just actually don't have time today, and I didn't make time for myself today because I wanted to come home, eat, take the dogs out before I'm about to go do the AFL for the rest of the afternoon. So yeah, but those are two really good ideas and I'll definitely use them in the future, even tomorrow depending on the weather. This one is super important because I actually want to try this tomorrow. I've done this before. I've done this once at a retreat and it was epic, but I was at a retreat. It's it was controlled, someone was doing it for me. Whereas tomorrow I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to record it as well and I'm going to take you through it. But sit in closed eye silence with breathing practices. So this meaning eyes closed, laying down, complete darkness. So I have a little eye mask on to really get into me. Closed eye silence, so eyes closed, black all around me, completely silent, no speaking, no having someone speak to me, no music on, anything like that. unless I decide that I need music on, as in like soft like waves and stuff like that to get me in the mood. But I'll aim to do it in silence, and then using breathwork practices, because breathwork practices really stimulate the brain as well, and they help you trigger or activate any trauma, anything like that you need to break through or uncover, or just things you want to do more in the future. So I'm going to do that as well tomorrow, and I will take you through that because it actually is that's a big one. The other ones are quite small, like watching a movie without your phone and stuff like that. This one's quite a big one, so I will record that and I'll make a separate video on how to do it, how I did it, how I felt before, how I felt during, how I felt after, and just like a time lapse or a video of me actually doing it in the moment as well. Yeah, so they're all the practices I want to embrace this weekend. So it is Saturday now, so I'm embracing on the going to AFL without the dogs today, and I'm going to journal as well. And then tonight I'll watch the NRL without my phone, which is going to be epic as well. So 3 really massive ones today, and I'm going to take them step by step. I'm not going to overwhelm myself because they're super easy ones, but for me, obviously they're not. So I'm going to take my time today. I'm going to try to get all 3 done, but there is no pressure either because you want it to be neutral. You don't want to be upset, anxious, or anything about it, but I don't want to be excited about it. I want to be quite neutral about all of it, which is really healthy as well, because then I'm in a balanced state. So after going through all that, I am going to go into journaling. I haven't journaled since my last one, and what I want to journal about today, my first journaling piece, I want to do 2 journaling pieces. My first journaling piece today, I want it to be quiet. It can go deep if it needs to, and I'll lean into that, but I'm going to start with surface because right now I'm at such a good point. There's nothing like I need to lean into currently, but I want to acknowledge how I feel right now in the present, and then go from there. So that's pretty much it. So I want you, if you are figuring out how to journal or want to understand how to journal, I'm not a journal expert, don't get me wrong, but I do absolutely love journaling. I used to do it way back when, but yeah, grab a piece of paper, a pen, get ready. I also find it, if I title something, I literally am just going to do like journaling Saturday, but I find it very easy once the paper isn't blank. So a lot of girls texting me and saying that, like, what do? The paper's blank and it just stays blank. I'm like, title that shit, because once the title's there, there's already a word on the page and there's not as much pressure for the first thing you write. So I'm just going to do journaling, entry, Saturday. And then I'll highlight it so that my brain can recognize that there's something there already on the page. Plus, aesthetically pleasing. So now my paper looks like that, and I just have the title, and that'll make me feel obviously much easier now to write the rest. So the question is, or like the focus to go into when you start to think about what to write, is how do I feel right now in the present? So super simple, like you can obviously still go, oh God, I'm so sorry. You can obviously just go super like surface base, being like your answer could just be like good, feel fine. But in all honesty, there's not much you're gonna get from that. Even if the question is so surface based, as in like, how do you feel? You can say okay. Like, what if you said, you know, I'm actually feeling a bit down because my leg hurts here, but I actually feel really good, blah, blah. And this aspect of life, like that's gonna get you much more detail about what to go into next or where to focus on in aspects of your life or your mood or anything like that. So yeah, definitely try your hardest. No one else has written this but you. This is for me. I'm showing it to you because I feel confident, comfortable, and I also just like, I got that many messages reached out to me that it like really helped everybody. And if I could have someone have done this for me, I 100% would like want to see it all the time. So I want to be that person for you. And I'm just like, I'm beyond grateful that I can be. So yeah, you'll see mine, but I won't see yours and no one else will see yours. So completely write down everything you absolutely feel, and just like go to town with it. Lean into it. If you start to feel sad, lean into that. Don't hold back and go, oh, that's it. Or like, I'm actually fine, it's fine. Lean into it, like be sad, be happy, be angry, like all of it, just lean in. So we'll sit down and we will journal. I need to stop speaking so I can think. I'm excited for the potential that lies ahead of me and the momentum I have created to reach my potential. But I'm also anxious and scared for the reality of my financial pressure and how it will impact my life if I don't succeed. I'm also quite disappointed in myself for starting so late, but understanding that I didn't know what I do now and I had no clue on the reality of money and reality of living plus business expenses. I like talking about money. I personally don't talk about money a lot because it makes me quite uncomfortable. I've never had an abundance of it. I've never been like given money, say so, without having to really work for it. And recently I started moving out of my home. My parents moved to Foster a little bit before December, and then I had to move out with my partner and my brother. And I didn't realize the amount of money you had to actually spend to live as an adult, and how much I wasn't actually making. So I want to talk a little bit about money in my journaling. So I think my next question is going to be, and it's honestly as simple as that, like once you've got that surface answer, it's like just tapping into how I felt today, I then go, okay, I want to lean into which part do I want to lean into. So there was I feel excited for the potential that lies ahead of me. I could lean into that. I could lean into the anxious and scared. I could lean into disappointment. I could lean into all like one of those three, or all three, or two of those. But today, right now, in my heart and in my head, I really want to lean into the anxious and scared. And like you'll know which one to lean into because you'll feel it. Or you feel something against wanting to lean into that, and that's the one you lean into. So I want to lean into what makes you feel anxious and scared. Okay, so I just answered that one. So what makes you feel anxious and scared? Also, just take into consideration, this can take you 5 seconds, this can take you 10 minutes, this can take you 2 hours. These are surface questions for me. So they're not, like for me, they're not gonna take that long. But if I was to dive into something deeper, like the one I did for episode 1, that's gonna take me a while. So what makes you feel anxious and scared? Having no money, having to give up sport, having to give up rehab and physio, having to give up my integral groceries and HelloFresh, having to give up house cleaners, having to give up driving everywhere, having to give up on my dream future, having to just survive life instead of living it, having to say goodbye and giving up on my clients, having nowhere to support myself, and having no freedom. I feel like I want to cry, but I have nothing to cry about. So I think I'm leaning out of something. I think I'm trying to go surface questions so that I don't have to get deep and personal. I do feel like this is something I should lean into, and it's like I feel like it's right there because like I can feel it. Like I can literally feel it, and right now I'd normally be like, oh no, I'll just like keep doing my work now, or I'll go on the rest of my like day plans or stuff like that, or record some other content. But I think right now this is what needs to happen, and I think this will show you to you girls as well, like when you do feel that, whatever that feeling is, whether it's fear, sadness, excitement, anything like that, that you like lean into it. Like genuinely lean into it. I'm gonna lay down, put my eye mask on, try to create a little scene for myself. I'll do my best to record it. I'll do no music to start with. I'm just gonna ask myself a couple questions. I've only done this, like I said, once before, and someone was asking me the questions and he was creating the scene with the music. So I'll try it without it. I think I might need the music, but that means I then can't record. So I'll do a bit of both. I'll see which one works for me. Obviously, if it doesn't work for me to record, I won't record. I'll recap you up after, because what's most important is that you're doing it for you. And as much as I want to share my journey with you girls, I can't share it unless I do it myself. So I will do my best to absolutely keep you in the loop and take you through everything I'm doing so that you can practice it or look into doing it, or just feel comfortable knowing that there's a possibility for you to do something like that. But I also will be doing my own journey as well, so I do need to take care of myself at the same time, which is super important for every single one of us. So I just want to add into the video, my 2 dogs are here, and I was actually just going to set it up down here, but that would defeat the purpose of me trying to be in my own loneliness. So I'm going to go set myself up in a room over here that they can't get into because I can lock it. And I'll show you my little setup as well. Okay, so this is the room I'm going to do it in. So just got some little plants there, completely empty room, so I'm like by myself. I'm going to light a candle here, this little candle, so it smells nice in here as well. And then I'm going to use my eye mask. I'm going to turn the light off as well, put the lights the other way, and I'm actually going to put on some music. Get much of a better camera angle, and I'm not going to focus too much on doing that because that'll ruin what I'm trying to lean into. But I'm just going to light my candle. I found the deep music I want to listen to. My little candle is lit. Okay, my music's going to go on. And I don't want to be able to hear anything but me. So, music's on. I won't be speaking at all either. I'm going to change the blinds around. I'm going to turn the light off. Okay, wish me luck. I know this episode's like all over the place, but honestly self-development is not like this. And I can't plan for everything to happen because it's just not how it works. If it's not aligning, it's not working. I can't force it to happen. And I just want to do a little recap on that little part I showed you before where I tried to meditate and I talked about how like it felt really good to go into it. When looking back at it and the outcome from it, 1, I fell asleep. 2, the reason I fell asleep was because I was so exhausted and I couldn't get myself into a state to relax and to think about the questions I was asking myself because I was forcing the situation, which you can't develop from a forced situation. It's just not going to happen in regards to like self-development and stuff like that. So for future, I will be doing all my self-development with myself, and then once I'm into it and I've let it happen and develop, I will go back like I did with my journaling. I actually did that all by myself and then I decided to read it out and show you guys. That's what I'm going to do in the future. So I'm going to like do it myself and then recap and let you guys know how it went, instead of recording it whilst I'm doing it and putting so much pressure on to make it work and all that stuff to show you how to do it, because it doesn't work and then I've ruined or stopped myself from being able to have that little part of development. So I actually got to learn still. Although I didn't get to do exactly what I wanted to do for the outcome I wanted, I still got to learn that for me to be able to develop, I need to really sit with it with myself and give myself the ability to go into it with no pressure, no one watching, nothing like that, and then be able to share it with you guys. Anyways, so I just wanted to recap that because obviously this episode has been like useful but not useful, but I wanted to like just tell you like the truth and the breakdown of it. So there are a couple of questions I now have after speaking with my mentor that I wanted to go through as well. But there's only 2 that I wanted to go through right now, but I'm going to go through them by myself and then I'll recap what I wrote down and what I concluded. But I also wanted to go through the AFL game. I can't remember if I spoke about it already, but in the AFL game, I actually didn't get to record anything, which I'm actually super proud of myself for not doing. Listen, because I didn't have my phone on me, so I had a game on the phone to watch my partner play, but I didn't have like my phone on me. So like I wasn't recording, wasn't putting any pressure on myself, so I actually got to enjoy it so much. And I like, to the point where I was just like, oh, sorry, excuse me. To the point where I was just like smiling so much, and everyone kept saying to me they've never seen someone look so happy to run water. That's what I was doing at the AFL game. I was running water. But like, I was just so happy because I was with myself. I knew what I was doing for myself. I was giving myself the chance to do it, and I was being able to like sit in what I was doing, lean into it. Whereas I think if I had my phone out recording and stuff like that, there'd be pressure on me trying to record in front of everyone who I hadn't met before, like people I hadn't seen in ages. Pressure on this like scenario, like trying to do it for myself. So I didn't record any of it, but I just wanted to recap over it, like how amazing it was. Although it sounds like such a stupid activity to someone else, for me that was a massive activity to go to the AFL by myself. Yes, of course I have friends there, but like going by myself without like a secured backup, like a dog or something, was really, really massive for me. And the reason it was so massive, because if I reflect on it, excuse me. I'm getting tired now. If I reflect on it, the minute I got there, I saw a friend that I'm quite close with, and I didn't leave her side until I picked up on what I was doing. And then I was like, okay, babe, you need to be independent. You didn't bring a dog purely for this reason. You don't need to now cling to someone else. And that's what I was doing. I was literally clinging to someone the minute I got there, so I didn't have to be alone. If she went to the left, I went to the left. She went to the right, I went to the right. And once I caught myself out on it, I got to sit in that. I literally sat down by myself. I sat in it and went, okay, you are okay. You are by yourself, and that is okay. I'm in a room full of people, but it's okay to be by myself. I don't have to go sit next to somebody and have like someone next to me the whole time. I can sit by myself. And that was really epic for me because I don't do that. I don't like to do that. And from the first 2 seconds I walked in, I did that for the first 15 minutes until I picked up on what I was doing. And then I got to change what I was doing. I got to change my story, which was really cool. I really would love to be able to control my story to the best of my ability. And that was kind of a little like a momentum shift that I could control my story and choose what I do with my actions. So that was the first big thing. And then I got onto the AFL field, which was epic because I have my ACL and MCL currently rehabbing. So I haven't been on AFL field in so long, and it was honestly unreal. Oh my God. And then I was running water. Now, I do hate rejection. I fear rejection. Everyone fears it, most likely. But I fear it. And I'm not projecting onto you that you need to fear it, because that's totally not it. But it's one of my fears. I hate being rejected. I don't like the idea of being rejected purely based on like trauma, and I just don't like it. Whether it's trauma or not, I just don't want to be rejected. And it comes literally down to the point of like, obviously it happens in my business, my personal life, but like a really, really key aspect that I saw about it on the weekend is, listen to this. I'm running water, like jogging along, holding a water bottle, and going like on the field with girls who are puffing and sweating and working like hard bitches. I'm like, do you want some water? And they say no. And the first girl who said no to me, I was like, damn, my heart literally was like, oh, how awkward. Like, she said no, and I didn't know what the fuck to do. I just stood there holding the water. I went, okay, like, babe. And then I got so upset about it for the next 5 minutes. I ran away, as I do. I ran away off the field because I was supposed to. And I waited there for another 15, 20 minutes to then go approach the next person because I was so taken back that someone said no. I'm running fucking water. If someone doesn't want to drink, why is that the end of my, like, you know what I mean? So after I got to pick up on that, which was another huge moment that I actually got to realize what I was doing in the moment, I was standing there for about 15, 20 minutes. So a whole quarter went by. And I was like, oh shit, I haven't run water. And I was like, I didn't run water because I didn't want to. I didn't want to get rejected, even though it was water. I did not want to get rejected. I wanted my service to be valuable, and if someone was going to reject me, I didn't want to put it out there. And that like truly reflects to my personal life, as in with all my relationships. I don't want to put myself out there and get rejected. Or my business. I don't want to put out my messages and my sales because I don't want to get rejected and get told it's wrong, or just get absolutely zero feedback, or to get told shut down. Like, you know what I mean? So that was huge, because then once I noticed that in the second quarter, I then was like, okay, run the water. She says no. Who cares? Go to the next person. Take a seat. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking water, babe. Like, stop crying about it. And then I did. The next 2 quarters, ran out. She said no. Okay. Ran to the next person. Okay. 5 no's in a row. That's fine. Now I'll go sit down. I'll wait 10 minutes and then I'll come back. And then they'll say yes because I want the water. Like, it honestly sounds so stupid, but it was such a big moment because I got to sit and realize, why am I making this about me? It's not. It is fucking water, and they are not thirsty, and that's a them problem, and they don't want the water. That has nothing to do with me. It's not personal. So it was really nice to sit in that and lean into that, and it, like, in the actual moment, be able to call myself out and go, why am I making this about me? This has nothing to do with me. It's water. They're not thirsty, and that is the story. There is no other story. I'm not being rejected because they think I'm this. This isn't happening because I'm not valuable. It's purely based because they're not thirsty. And it was really nice to understand that and make that change in my story, and then enjoy the rest of the AFL and just be smiling the whole time. And like I said, I had that many people tell me we've never seen a happier water runner, because I was just smiling the whole time, happy to be there once I got to change my story. So crazy. So that's just the overview of the AFL game. I had the best time. It was so eye-opening for me in the moment, to be able to change my story at the time. Obviously, that was a one-time thing. I need to keep going to make it a very conscious, happens all the time kind of thing. But I'm super proud of myself for doing that, and that was probably the biggest thing that's happened for me this weekend on the self-development episode. I did obviously plan to do way more, but I'm going to be honest, I think I shot for the stars and it was too high for me. I do think I could have succeeded if I tried, but I exhausted myself because I was doing too much. Self-development is so mentally exhausting. I'd rather run a 20k marathon than do a whole day of self-development because it's mentally exhausting. I tried to do some stuff and I fell asleep. I just carked it because I was so exhausted, and the situation just wasn't it. I just couldn't do it after the AFL game because I was so exhausted from that whole thing. That took me an hour, 2 hours of personal development, and that was a lot. That took a massive toll on me, and I'm so proud of myself for doing that. And that's probably the best thing I've probably done in my whole self-development besides the first journaling. But I need to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. And this is a really good key thing is don't do too much to rush at it. Let it take its time, let yourself sit in it, and really go into the left lane, slow down, take it one by one, and conquer one by one. Which is another thing I learned with my mentor today. So yeah, every day is a new little chip at the iceberg, but obviously some days are slower, some days are nothing at all, some days are peaks. But it just depends where your energy lies, the time you have, how you feel, the activities you have coming up or that you can make for yourself. So stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to give an overview for the AFL and the recap of this episode, because I know it hasn't been exactly what it was supposed to be. And that's okay, and I don't want to put pressure on myself anymore, so that I can actually make the correct and best content for you guys ever. So yeah, so going future forward, I'm going to make sure I do everything for myself and then pass it on to you guys, you girls, so that we can all grow from this. Instead of just trying to watch me half-ass it because I'm forcing myself and recording myself and not being able to get into it for myself. So yeah. But besides that, I'm going to now answer those 2 questions purely for myself and to look at an overview of what I can do for the rest of the week for my business and myself. And then I'll just recap over what I wrote with you girls. And I think I'll end the video there. But also another thing I do want to add in. So the first practice I mentioned was sitting in my car by myself. Sorry, excuse me, I'm going to yawn. Sitting in the car with myself in complete silence, and I now have done that for a week and again today. And I'm loving that practice because that's really helping me understand that I can sit in my own silence and actually be okay with it. And the more I've done it, the more comfortable I am. If anyone knows me, I hate sleeping by myself. I can't stand sleeping by myself because I've had now a partner who I sleep with all the time. And then when he goes away, I also sleep by myself, and that makes me super uncomfortable because I'm alone. I gotta be by myself. But I've had the best night's sleep on the past couple of days because I've been able to be okay in my company, which is absolutely amazing to be comfortable in my company, which is obviously what my problem is. I'm uncomfortable in my own company. So that's a massive thing. Obviously, I haven't fixed my, entire, I haven't chipped away at the whole entire iceberg and got rid of it, but I've now dented it a little bit where I can actually enjoy my own company. No, I don't want to say enjoy it because I don't enjoy my own company yet. That's way too far ahead, but I can sit in my own company and be okay. So I think that's a massive thing for me. And then the second practice that I'm starting this week, that my mentor didn't tell me to do, but she kind of took a dig at my ego saying I'm same as what I said before, I'm doing too much because my ego's up here and I want to get this done and blah, blah, blah. Which is great. I'm an action taker, but I'm taking it too far to the extreme where I just can't do a lot of things in the quiet, in the silence, stuff like that, in slow periods of work, life, anything like that. So my task and activity I want to focus on this week, obviously I'm keeping the music off. That's now just a subconscious has to happen. And then the second activity is left lane. Sounds so stupid, but left lane driving. Purely based on the fact I'm making it as simple as possible for myself. Slow the fuck down. Left lane driving. No speeding, no right lane, no zoom, none of it. Left lane drive everywhere I go. So I'm gonna start that from today. So that's gonna be huge if I can get that down, because I am key and known for literally right lane, go. Oh, this car's going too slow, go next, go next, go next. Like, just have to be somewhere, I don't. I get there 30 minutes early because I need to get there so fast. I need to get it all done like this. So left lane driving is my next biggest thing this week. I obviously can't record that or view that, but I will give you updates on how I go if I stay consistent with that, because that's going to be a huge mental battle for me to not want to like overtake or go into the right lane, and obviously go faster, which is what I want to do in everything. So I will do an overtake on that in the episode 3 at the end of this week. I'll do another episode and take you through what I've done for the week and take you through my episode 3 is going to be really cool because, again, I'm not forcing myself pressure on it, but I just know what's going to happen. What I want to happen is me and my mum actually spend an Easter weekend together, and I'm setting up a little bit of like a self-development retreat for us. So that's going to be really epic, and I want to take you all through that. We're obviously going to do it over a couple of days, so I'm not going to record the first or second day, but I'll record maybe the last day and then do a recap of all the days together so that there's no pressure, nothing forced on me or my mum, and we can actually develop and enjoy it, and then I'll share it with you girls as well for you guys to kind of go through it with us as well, and then see what you could maybe do in the future. So I think that's where I'm going to recap it off today, and pretty much end it here, because I want this to be a nice little like recap and ending of this episode, so I can really get into the third episode and take in what I've said about doing it for myself first and then sharing it with you girls, because I think that's where I've gone wrong this time compared to the first episode. I just got so keen to share it with everybody without taking in the fact that I wasn't able to do it by myself first, which is the most important part for me at the moment. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to answer those 2 questions, but I will answer them in the episode 3 and then show you through episode 3, which I'm actually super keen for, because like I said, it's over the Easter long weekend, and there's a couple of things me and my mum will do together, but like separately, but yeah, develop together. So it'll be actually super nice, and I can't wait to take you girls through that as well once I go through it myself. I hope you really did enjoy this one. I know it was a bit like chop and change and wasn't exactly what it was supposed to be, but I really do hope it still helped you in any way, or you did enjoy it, and that you will still follow through till episode 3 as well. So I hope you are well, and thank you so much. Please make sure you like, subscribe, follow me. Just support me so I know that this is good and that I can keep doing it and someone's actually listening. Bye.